Let's dive into the Chiefs' latest move, trading for Cam Thomas. Now, Thomas is labeled as a linebacker, but he's really more of a defensive end, which is what he played in college. The Chiefs only gave up a seventh-round pick for him, and honestly, this trade makes perfect sense. The team really needed help on the defensive line, especially at defensive end. Beyond Mike Dana and George Karlaftis, the options were pretty limited. Charles Omenihu, for example, is still recovering from a torn ACL. Looking at the roster, there are a few other names like Felix Anudike-Uzoma, Malik Herring, and Truman Jones. But after the Chiefs lost to the Bears, it became clear that they were lacking depth on the D-line. They needed someone to step up, whether it was a veteran or just a fresh body to rotate in. And Cam Thomas might just be that guy. Thomas is 6'0" and weighs 267 pounds. His relative athletic score, RAS, is 8.68, which is well above average. He's got a solid shuttle time and three-cone drill performance. According to the KC Sports Network, KCSN draft guide, he was considered a medium fit for the Chiefs. Matt Lane from KCSN praised his power and ability to bend around the corner, along with a good burst to close gaps. While Thomas may not rack up a ton of sacks, he's a strong run defender and can apply pressure from the edge. With the Cardinals, Thomas was used as a hybrid outside linebacker, but he's better suited as a defensive end for the Chiefs. He can also rush from the inside on passing downs, which makes him a versatile option for Steve Spagnuolo's defense. He even played a bit as a defensive tackle in college, so he brings flexibility to the line. The reality is, Felix Anudike-Uzoma hasn't performed as expected, and the Chiefs needed to make a move. Bringing in Thomas is a positive step. Here's a clip from last night's game against the Broncos. Watch him on this stunt, flipping inside. He didn't get the sack, but he definitely put pressure on the QB. So, whether it's on passing downs or an early run defense, Thomas can contribute right away. All right, let's continue with the analysis of Cam Thomas. You can see in the clip here that the Cardinals had him standing up a lot, which is something I don't think the Chiefs will do as much. But take a look. He uses his power effectively, especially in this play where he's lined up against the tight end. He sheds the block and makes a solid tackle. This is why I think he'll be valuable against both the run and the pass. According to KC Sports Network, KCSN, Thomas was considered a medium fit for the Chiefs. However, he does have some weaknesses. Despite his size, he's not overly strong and often relies on his athleticism rather than power to get to the quarterback. His arm length is also a bit concerning, but the Chiefs' front office, including Brett Veach, saw enough potential in him to make the trade. At just 24 years old and with a couple of years left on his rookie deal, Thomas is still a young player with room to grow. Now, let's talk about his career stats. There's not a ton to go on, but in his 2 years with the Cardinals, he recorded a pass defense each year, 3 sacks in 2022, and none in 2023. Keep in mind that they were using him more as an outside linebacker. He did have 6 quarterback hits in his rookie year and even scored a touchdown on a scoop-and-score play. So, while he's not going to be an every-down player, he does bring some versatility and can provide depth where the Chiefs need it most. The Chiefs have addressed some of their other needs recently, like adding veteran wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, which we talked about earlier. Although Cam Thomas isn't a veteran, he does add depth to the defensive end rotation. The question now is whether the Chiefs will bring in a cornerback, as that's another area where they could use some help. To sum up, Cam Thomas isn't going to be a game changer like a Watt brother or Max Crosby, but he's a solid rotational guy. He can play inside or outside, help against the run, and give guys like George Karlaftis or Mike Dana a breather without a significant drop-off in pressure. For what the Chiefs gave up, a 7th-round pick, it's a smart move. And just a quick note, I'm not sure if Super Chats are working right now, but I wanted to get this quick update out to you all about the signing. I was just about to call it a night when the news dropped. Brett Veach strikes again. Seriously, he's like Batman. The Chiefs snagged Cam Thomas for just a 7th-round pick. That's a steal if you ask me. Zach mentioned it's always good to have some backups, and I couldn't agree more. They'll get him built up and ready in no time. I know FAU, Felix Anudike-Uzoma, still needs some time to develop. He's one of the youngest players on the roster, but that's exactly why the Chiefs are bringing in extra help. FAU isn't quite ready yet, and adding Thomas to the mix will give him the space to grow without the pressure of having to deliver right away. Thanks, Brand, for the 5. Appreciate the support. And Marcus, I'll definitely check out Steele's new nickname you found. So yeah, the Chiefs just added a rotational defensive end. It's not a high-profile, splashy move, But trading a seventh round pick for a former third rounder, that's a solid deal. I'm not sure why the Cardinals let him go. I don't know their roster well enough to say, but they must have felt comfortable moving on. Meanwhile, the Chiefs get some much needed depth on the D line. This move probably means Truman Jones might not make the roster, and maybe even Malik Herring is on the bubble. But I'm all for getting an edge rusher this close to the season. You can plug a guy like Thomas in on key downs, and while he might not know the whole system yet, it's easier to integrate a defensive end than, say, a wide receiver who has to learn route trees and adjust to Mahomes' tendencies. On 3rd and 8, just tell him to line up on the edge and go after the quarterback. Simple as that. So there you have it, folks. Cam Thomas, formerly with the Cardinals, is now a Kansas City Chief. I've already shared more of my thoughts earlier, so if you're just tuning in, feel free to check out the rest of the video.